This is America in Space, a weekly news and information program on current events dealing with the space industry.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor. On July 11, 2024, at Vandenberg Space Force Base, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket experienced a rare failure during launch and an oxygen leak in an engine burn of the rocket's second stage. The rocket failed to reach its intended orbit, and all 20 satellites were deployed in too low of an orbit and thus were lost. A mandatory mishap investigation is ongoing. SpaceX has, however, requested that the Federal Aviation Administration allow for future launches under a public safety determination, meaning that the launch poses no risk to public safety. NASA Program Manager Dana Weigel said NASA will have its own processes outside of what the FAA does, even if the FAA rules in favor of SpaceX's request. Here's more on the incident and investigation from the group Great SpaceX.
After a rare incident, Falcon 9 is ready to come back and continue its quest for nearly 150 launches. More than 2 weeks have passed since the Falcon 9 incident, marking one of the toughest periods for the rocket in nearly a decade. But it's time to turn the page. Falcon 9 is ready to return. The comeback mission is scheduled for 12:14 a.m. EDT on July 24th. It'll launch the Starlink Group 10-4 mission, carrying 23 Starlink satellites into orbit from SLC-40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. This represents the culmination of the SpaceX team's relentless efforts to get Falcon 9 back on track after the incident. As soon as the problems arose, the team sprang into action, quickly pinpointing the cause. In the days that followed, SpaceX worked closely with the FAA on public safety and mishap investigations, while also testing the second stage engine. They sought FAA approval to resume launches once public safety was assured. Meanwhile, NASA provided continuous support to assist in the process. Thanks to these dedicated efforts, Falcon 9 is now ready for its triumphant return. Signs of Falcon 9's return have emerged in recent days, starting with the movement of the drone ship. On July 21st, Cygnet Warhorse 1 tugboats towed the drone ship a shortfall of gravitas out to sea in preparation for the rocket's landing. The upcoming mission will be Falcon 9's 70th flight this year and its 355th mission overall. This means SpaceX has nearly 80 more missions to achieve its goal of 148 launches by the end of this year. Hopefully, after days of intense preparation, Falcon 9 will make a spectacular comeback, reaching new goals and setting fresh records. This will help it maintain its leading position in the orbital launch market. After the return mission, attention will shift to the resumption of crewed missions. SpaceX has two significant crewed missions on the horizon, Polaris Dawn and Crew 9. Preparations for both, particularly Polaris Dawn, are nearly complete. However, restarting crewed missions is typically more challenging and time-consuming compared to uncrewed ones. Luckily, Falcon 9 stands apart from the rest. Its launch cadence surpasses any rocket today. Jonathan McDowell, an astrophysicist at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, recently said, "What I would imagine the requirement will be that they understand what happened, have a plan to fix it, and fly at least one non-crewed Falcon 9 to verify the fixes before Polaris Dawn is cleared to go." He added, "And that's not really going to be a problem because they've got a lot of Falcon 9s backed up, raring to go." If those statements hold true, SpaceX should be able to complete the necessary steps swiftly.
Although the interview said that the flights will resume on July 24th, the new launch will actually resume on Friday, July 26th at 12:14 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, launching more Starlink satellites from Cape Canaveral. They've got to keep it up so they can launch those crewed launches. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for listening from your home or where you work. And wherever you listen, be sure to like and follow us. Listen each Tuesday for This Week in Space with John Gomez. And join me every Friday for America in Space. From the Florida Space Coast, I'm Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor for About Space Today.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to share our program with your family and friends and follow us on Facebook. Join us each week for news and information on America in Space.